Good evening and welcome to the Township Committee meeting of February 25, 2020. Mayor Thompson is away, lucky me, this evening, so I will conduct this meeting in his absence. Ms. Bork, please call the roll.
Committeeman Delcourt?
I am here.
Committeewoman Holmes?
Here.
Committeewoman McCauley?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Lapani?
Here.
Mayor Thompson? Administrator Ferreira?
Here.
Attorney Willard?
Here.
Attorney Bernstein?
Here.
Thank you, Ms. Bork. Please join me in a salute to the flag. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job.
I'm sorry, I get a kick of hearing a bunch of kids say the Pledge of Allegiance every time. That's great. Please be advised that in accordance with the Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, this notice of this meeting was made by the posting on the bulletin board at the Hillsborough Township Municipal Complex and notifying the officially designated newspapers that this meeting would take place at the Hillsborough Township Municipal Complex at 7:30 p.m. on February 25th, 2020.
Move your mic up a little bit.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have no approval of minutes at this time, but I'd first like to thank all the children who came out tonight to be part of this meeting. I think this is probably the largest crowd we've ever had. Please bear with us, and if there's people could scooch in a little bit for those who might want to have some seats, that might help also. So we'll start off with reports from committee liaisons and receipts of reports, and our first would be Committeeman Delcourt.
Thank you. I do not have public safety as part of my liaison, but I think we're right about at capacity, so we could just squeeze those folks in, but I think we're right. It's nice to see this many people at a meeting. A couple things from me this evening. I wanted to thank the Operation Shoebox team. A number of us participated in their most recent packing event in Manville at the VFW, which is on the 15th. For those of you that are unaware, the Operation Shoebox was founded in 2005, and it's an all-volunteer grassroots organization dedicated to collecting and donating supplies and shipping care packages to U.S. troops that are stationed in Iraq, Afghanistan, and other Middle Eastern countries. Packages go overseas. Everything is essentially donated, and volunteers gather to pack the boxes and ensure that they're able to get those supplies over to our troops. So in total, Operation Shoebox has shipped more than 168,000 packages to U.S. military personnel at 800 bases in 70 countries, and we're really thankful for the work that they do, and it was a pleasure to participate in their packing event. From the building department, when you're taking out a permit, just please remember that the permit remains open until all final inspections have been passed. It's recommended that you save all permit documents for your own personal record so that in the event later on there's an issue or if you need to schedule inspections, want to make sure that if there's any open permits, you have that information. You can also contact the building department to see if you have any open permits as you're starting work. From the engineering group, regarding final engineering inspections that occurred during the winter months, certain things such as pole barns, garages, driveways, in-ground swimming pools are in the process of being constructed, and residents, if they're looking for final inspections or site engineering for a certificate, it's recommended that you obviously try to get that work done before snow hits the ground. In the event that it can't be inspected because of snow, the engineering department will issue a conditional certificate until the spring season, and once the site work can be verified, then any escrow dollars that have been collected will be returned and a permanent certificate of occupancy is issued. So obviously we need to work around the weather as it relates to final engineering inspections. We probably have a couple of kids that participated in a recent the Super Bowl process that the kids go through. This year, last time we celebrated one of the schools this week, it's Amsterdam Elementary, chose to celebrate their 100th day of school with a race to 100 as a way to practice generosity and collect items for the Hillsborough Community Assistance Network, the CAN, which is also our food bank. The student body of about 500 students. The goal was to have each student bring in one item to reach 100 items per grade level. The student body went above and beyond and donated a total of more than 1,000 items. I'd like to thank all those students and all the community at Amsterdam School for their support of our community assistance network. In addition, each of the past 5 years, before the Super Bowl, we have a bit of a friendly competition with Montgomery, the Village Elementary School students, as part of their Super Bowl, which also benefits local pantries, including the Hillsborough local food pantry here. Students are invited to bring cans of soup and other non-perishables to school, and they're placed on a table in the school's foyer to show support for the team that they want to win. It creates a lot of excitement, but most importantly, donated about 800 items, again, to the food pantry, which goes to our neediest families here in town. And while we hope that there comes a time where we don't have to have those donations, it's heartwarming to see the amount of support that the community provides to those that really need it here in Hillsborough. So thank you all for your donations. And finally, as it relates to recreation, the highly anticipated spring activities guide is here now. And we have a wide selection of activities and something I think for everyone on the list. New activities for the spring include a mountain biking club, the Actor Studio, Amazing Athletes. You can check out all the activities guide on the website, which is hillsboroughNJRecreation.org, for these programs and many more. And registration now is open for our spring programs. We do have programs for a variety of age groups, from toddlers to adults, and some programs that we will have included, as I noted, the new biking club for 5th to 8th graders, which will be held at 6 Mile Run in Somerset on select Saturdays in April and May. Another popular program is our tennis lessons, geared for both beginners and advanced players aged 5 to 14. And the tennis lessons are offered on Wednesday afternoons and evenings at Woodfield Park, just across the street here, from April to June. We also have a golf program for anyone that's looking to get their kids involved in golf. Never too late to learn. And the lessons are both for children and adults. They take place at the Hillsborough Country Club on Sunday mornings in May and June, and you can find more information there on the website as well. And finally, as it relates to our summer camps, registration for that is open. The Parks and Recreation Group runs a summer camp program at a number of the schools here in town. The camp begins on June 29th and runs through August 21st and is for children aged 5 to 11. And we also have a July 6th through August 13th for children aged 12 to 13. We have a tiny camp for 4 and 5-year-olds who have not yet finished kindergarten that runs for 6 weeks beginning on June the 29th. So all of those camp programs, registration is now open for anyone that would like to sign up. And again, you can find all that information on the Parks and Recreation website, which is www.hillsboroughNJRecreation.org. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. He's tired. You need a break. We got standing up.
I'm not sure if you enjoyed the or you're happy that I'm done. But either way, I'll accept applause. Thank you.
Thank you. Just as an aside for us young children out here, Operation Shoebox was started actually by Rod Hirsch as an Eagle Scout project in the 60s for sending packages to Vietnam veterans over in Vietnam, I should say, active. So he continued that on. He actually just received an award, I think, from the Boy Scouts for that effort. So I'm sure a lot of you are probably in Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts and are working on projects, and just keep that as an example that sometimes the smallest idea can morph into a very big and beneficial project and you can make a difference. So there's an example of something started 60 years ago and is now still going. So Thank you,
And we did have a lot of scout participation at the backing event as
Right.
well, so.
as always. Thank you.
Yep.
Committeeman Macaulay, can you follow that one up?
No, but I'll try and find shorter, but that's okay. Good evening, everybody. Just a few notes for me tonight. Our police department will begin the process of accreditation through this New Jersey State Association of Chiefs of Police. It's a team of assessors that come out from the state, and they will arrive on Monday, and they examine all aspects of the Hillsborough Township Police Department's policies, procedures, management, operations, and support services. And Chief McMahon announced that today. He's in the back of the room. Hi, Chief. The accreditation is a very detailed one, and we know a lot of work goes into that. It's state regulated, and I think it's done every 3 years. So you might see some people walking around the building that are over there. So good luck with that. Also, the Hillsborough Township Police Department took some court time over at the YMCA recently for some community hoops, and I believe that's going to be an ongoing thing. There'll be some more upcoming dates, and the next one will be Friday, the 21st, from 6:30 to 9:30. So if you're looking for something to do and you want to go out and challenge some of our police officers on the courts, show up and have some fun. We're welcoming grades 7 through 12. So if you guys are out there and you want to go have some fun at the YMCA on the 21st, 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. Just a friendly reminder also from the finance that all dog owners, as of March 1st, that's the last day to renew your licenses without a late fee. March 1st is the deadline, so please get your licensing in if you have not done so already. You can make sure the rabies expiration date is October 2020 or later. It's the rabies expiration date. You can mail in the renewal, stop at the tax office, or renew it online now at www.hillsborough-nj.org. If you don't have the access to come in, you can do it online. And that's it for me this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Committeewoman McCollum. Take a bow. Committeewoman Holmes.
I'll keep it short.
I like this audience.
We're continuing to monitor the information about the coronavirus. There have not been any reported cases in Somerset County. The New Jersey Health Department of Health has provided this phone number, though, for the general public with questions about this virus, and that's 1-800-222-1222, and that's the New Jersey poison control number. The following websites are have up-to-date information: Centers for Disease Control, www.cdc.gov; New Jersey Department of Health, https://www.nj.gov/health. Okay. The Hillsborough Health Department is distributing free radon kits to residents on a first-come, first-served basis. Only one kit per residence will be distributed. Instructions are included and results will come to the residents only, not the health department. Please see the Township website for more information. And I want to thank Deputy Mayor Lapani, who attended the wildlife meeting on my behalf last week. Congratulations to Dr. Bob Matros, who will serve as the chair, and Mark Kirby, who will serve as the secretary. And that's it for me tonight.
You guys are all coming back. Okay, so I just have a couple of things, and we'll get on with while you're all here, not to tear us, but the Greater Raritan Workforce Development Board, in partnership with the Hillsborough Township and Somerset County Library System's Hillsborough branch, continues to offer residents the opportunity to meet with a job developer to learn about many services available to job seekers and employers in Somerset County. There's a session going on right now, and the next one is after tonight is March 24th, so that'd be over in the library. From DPW Clean Communities, raising awareness about the importance of keeping our community clean, reducing litter is an important message, and Hillsborough was fortunate to have its very own litter hero to spearhead the education effort. That's her. Fellow Hillsborough Clean Communities and Casey Green on Facebook at facebook.com Hillsborough Clean Communities / and find out where you can meet the litter hero in person at one of our 2020 Hillsborough Township Clean Communities Litter Cleanup events. The first event of 2020, Litter Awareness Day, will be held on Saturday, March 21st from 9 to 12 noon I am also told that participants will have the opportunity to meet Captain Cleanup in person, as she will help kick off the 2020 Clean Communities initiatives. Sign up through Community Pass and Eventbrite, and links are available on the Township website and the e-news. Regarding the Credit Card Advisory Committee, the Hillsborough Township Credit Card Advisory Committee will be accepting grant applications beginning March 2nd for the first round of grants for 2020. Applications will be made available on the Township website, which is www.hillsborough-nj.org. Or it can be picked up in person at the administration office for any township-based nonprofit senior or youth organization to apply for grants up to $2,000, which are funded through the Hillsborough Rewards Credit Card Program. For those who do not know, this credit card right here is a great program which is the Affinity, it's folding over, the Affinity credit card. This credit card is issued by this company, by Affinity, and is funding all these grants over the past 10 years or so, maybe longer. I think we've given out up to about $85,000 in grants to nonprofits, of which some of the people here may have gotten some of this money in the past. But I do have a little bit of news that I want to share since we have a captive audience today. Their contract is up this summer, and unfortunately, if we do not have any kind of increase in membership, there's a good chance that this program will go away. So I'm not asking anyone to open a credit card they're not comfortable with, but I would suggest if it is something that you are passionate about and are benefits of this program, to at least look into that and support the card and the program, so that it comes back right to everybody in this room. And that's all I'll say about that.
Deputy Mayor?
Yes.
Administrator
I
Farrar?
donate a lot of money, so.
Thank you. And it's a no-fee card. It's got all the points and stuff, and you're not paying any extra. It's just they take some of those funds and donate it back to the township. So would encourage you at least to take a look at it. Lewis Bay Scholarship. As in years past, the township is teaming up with Hillsborough School District to provide Hillsborough juniors and seniors the opportunity to participate in the scholarship competition through the League of Municipalities. The purpose of this scholarship program, named in honor of Lewis Bay II, Mayor Emeritus of Hawthorne, is to advance the virtues of elected and volunteer positions in municipal government, while raising awareness of municipal government in general. Please refer to Friday's e-news or the guidance office at the high school for more information. A couple more. Save the date, HPA Spring Networking is March 26th. Details to follow. And always, you can stay connected. And you can see all the stuff that we just did tonight and all our proclamations on TV 29 and the YouTube channel. Good Life episodes, Hillsborough alerts, and traffic and emergency notices, but you can all see your shiny faces. You can look up on YouTube tomorrow and show your grandmother and all that. All right, so that's enough of that. Who wants to go have some proclamations? Anyone here? Okay. You don't want to stay and listen to more of us speak? Oh, come on. All right. We do ask. We do ask after you receive your recognition.
Stop. Give us our awards.
I love that. I do ask that after you receive your proclamation, please return to your seat till they are all complete, and they will give you an opportunity at that point to leave the meeting. You are more than welcome to stay and listen to more of us, but I understand we have school tomorrow. So our first proclamation is the 2020 Auten Road School Super Bowl. Sweating? Do we have somebody here from Auten Road for the Super Bowl? All right, come on up. Whoever wants to come. a soapbox.
We did it last time. We talked about it last time.
Parents, there'll be an opportunity for pictures after it. Okay, so, Auten Road Intermediate School, 5th grade, Team 5G, led by Mrs. Lyons and Mrs. Gallagher, and 5H. And I'm going to pass the microphone around. I want all the kids to say your name. So we'll start up front.
Robert.
Adurv, Andrew, Daniel, Cyan, Victor, Noah, Charles, Rashid, Alicia, Katie, Sydney, James, Sophia, Sadie, Bailey, Somia, Lucia, Izzy, Macy, Lily, Anna, Brenna, Maya, Jack, Kayla, Olivia, Nora, Tyra, Alexa, Kylie, Parker, Jessica, Logan, Matthew, Zach, Alan, Tejas, Tommy.
Anybody not get on the microphone? Okay. Led by Mrs. Badulov and Ms. Newton, participated in the 6th grade. Bidoff. There you go. Participated in the 6th annual Super Bowl collection. This is a challenge between the teams to collect the most cans of food to donate to the Hillsborough Township Food Pantry. During the 2 weeks challenge, the students learned about the true lessons of charity as students canvassed their neighborhoods collecting cans and received generous donations from family members. Teams 5G 49ers and Teams 5H Chiefs, which numbered 104 families, gathered an astounding 2,318 cans of soup for charity. That's a lot of soup. The students also checked expiration dates, sorted all the food, typed and boxed the donations for delivery. The Auten Road Super Bowl victors were Team 5G, the 49ers, however, not like the Super Bowl. All the students were truly winners by giving back to their community. The Hillsborough Township Committee recommends Auten Road Teams 5G and 5H for their honor, and they have brought themselves and their school and their community. Great job, really.
We're only standing here because of the families, so thank you so much for everything that you did.
I need you guys to get a little closer.
Yeah, we used to say that. You can't say that anymore. It's only when it's convenient for millennials. My husband was asking me about stuff that was going on in town, and I said, "You're just ignorant." I go, "Oh well."
Yell.
Three for three.
I don't know about the mayor, but he's missing all the fun. All right, so the next group are the Dukes Jv Cheerleaders. Please come up. And I'll just say, the mayor and I are Duke alumni, 1970 blank blank for me, so the Dukes and I go way back. So all junior Pee Wee cheerleaders, JV.
No, stop. You have to come this way. The camera's there.
Junior?
It's junior Pee Wee girls, this way.
All right, you get to hold it again.
You got him, guys.
People come over here and fill it out. Switch a few people to the other end. Otherwise, these parents can yell at me. Okay. The 2019 Hillsboro Dukes JV Pee Wee Cheerleaders had a very successful season because of their hard work and dedication. The Hillsboro Dukes JV Pee Wee Cheerleaders placed first at the Central Jersey Pop Warner Cheer Competition. Garden State Pop Warner Cheer Competition, the Eastern Region Pop Warner Cheer Competition, and came in second place at the Pop Warner National Cheer Competition. The 2019 Dukes JV Pee Wee Cheer team consisted of the following young athletes and coaches. We're going to do the same thing we did before. State your name.
Emma. Bailey. Grace.
Brianna,
Liliana. Lily. Summer.
Lucia,
Demi. Daniela. Izzy.
Gianna,
Kaden. Chloe.
Heather. Abby. Kiani. Coach Kelly. Michaela.
Coach Stephanie.
Coach Kelly.
Coach Kathy.
The Hillsborough Township Committee commends the Hillsborough Dukes JV Pee Wee Cheerleaders, their coaches and parents, not only for their successful season, but for their hard work, dedication, and commitment to the sport and to those principles of good sportsmanship, teamwork, and academic achievement which the organized endorses. Congratulations. One of the coaches? They don't want to say anything, so we'll just take a picture.
not ear piercing, but loud.
All right, the JV cheerleaders, please. Okay, so I guess you haven't noticed there's a theme about, I guess, cheerleading tonight, but the 2019 Hillsborough Dukes Jv Cheerleaders had a very successful season because of their hard work and dedication. The 2019 Hillsborough Dukes Jv Cheerleaders were the conference champions and New Jersey state champions and placed second in the Eastern Region and national championships. The team also made and delivered over 100 bag lunches to Elias Promise Soup Kitchen in New Brunswick and held a paper goods drive. The 2019 Dukes JV Cheerleaders consisted of the following young athletes and coaches.
Coach Dana. Coach Kelly.
Ashley. Addison. Lexi. Catherine.
Olivia. Bella. Emily. Carly.
Abby.
Alyssa.
Hannah.
Olivia.
Hannah.
Coach Danielle.
Coach Noel.
Coach Nicole. Taylor.
Don't be afraid. All right. So the Hillsborough Township Committee commends the Hillsborough Dukes JV Cheerleaders, the coaches and parents, not only for their successful season, but for their hard work, dedication, and commitment to the sport and to those principles of good sportsmanship, teamwork, and academic achievement which the organization endorses.
Our president's going to speak.
All right, so we're going to have a big speech at the end. All right, so picture time.
Jim, not to put you on the spot.
Okay, the 2019 Hillsborough High Varsity Dance Team, please.
Yeah, that's it.
Please face out a couple rows here.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah,
Somebody asked me about it.
a box. Okay. The 2019 Hillsborough High School varsity dance team had a very successful season because of their hard work and dedication. The 2019 Hillsborough High School varsity dance team were the Northeast champions of both jazz and hip-hop, were nationally ranked at the UDA Nationals in Orlando, Florida this past year, placing 7th in jazz and 12th in hip-hop for the nation, and ended their season with 4 first place finishes and 2 second places. The team consisted of
Julia. Amanda. Demi. Nicolette. Sage. Christy. Kayla. Lauren. Olivia. Samantha. Rebecca. Alex. Lindsay. Jessica.
Coach Kristen. Coach Debbie.
Coach Kim.
Catherine.
Ariana. Ava. Lexi. Sophie. Rachel. Danielle.
I think the parents are more excited to be here than the kids. The Hillsborough Township Committee commends the Hillsborough High School varsity dance team, the coaches and parents, not for their successful season, but for their hard work, dedication, and commitment to the sport, and to those principles of good sportsmanship, teamwork, and academic achievement which the organization endorses. Coach? This is your proud parent.
Thank you guys for having us. We're so happy to be here representing Hillsborough High School, and thank you for recognizing us. We really, really appreciate it, and we're looking forward to a bright future. And these girls are hardworking, determined, and we can't wait for years to come.
All right, we got one more. One more. Do we have anybody here from the Dukes 14U football team? You're the whole team? The 2019 Hillsborough Dukes 14U football team had a very successful season because of their hard work and dedication. The Hillsborough Dukes 14U football team achieved a 6-0-2 regular season record in its first year in the Central Jersey Pop Warner Football Conference. They captured the Central Jersey Conference Championship with a 20-8 victory over the Bridgewater Panthers and earned the invitation to the Pop Warner Eastern Regional Football Tournament. And the team consisted of? All right. The Hillsborough Township Committee commends the Hillsborough Dukes 14U football team, the coaches and parents, not only for the successful season, but for their hard work, dedication, and commitment to the sport and to those principles of good sportsmanship, teamwork, and academic achievement which the organization endorses.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. We are just ready to open the books on 2020. Our registration is already open. We've got a lot of cool things out there for cheerleaders, for football players, for flex football in the spring. But before we get on to 2020, I think it's really cool that we can stop and look at all the great things that our cheerleaders accomplished during 2019. These girls racked up conference championships. They had awesome showings in regions. Both teams went to nationals and finished second place. So that's great competition, and these girls really knocked it out of the park. Our boys had a great year, too. The 14U team won a conference championship in the largest Pop Warner conference in New Jersey. So no small accomplishment. We're really honored to be here, and we thank the Township Committee for this proclamation.
Great job.
We don't have to sing
Make him do it, Sean, make him do it. Make him do it.
Hold on, Sean.
Peter Sorbera.
Alex Rodgers.
George Barsa.
All right. All right, so that ends our proclamation session, so we'll take a 5-minute break, so all those can get out of here if they have to go back to school tomorrow. Thank you very much. Let's go Dukes!
Good there, isn't it? That's always good.
All right, we're in session. That was fun. Congratulations to all the Duke participants and the high school dance team for a great year. All right, so before we get into our normal process of public comment on new business, we have a new hire in our consent one, and I'd like to see if we would take that out of order that once, that our person doesn't have to sit through the whole meeting. So I would take a motion to take that.
I'll move that motion, Mayor.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Okay. Do we need a roll call on that or a affirmation? Roll call?
Committeeman Delport,
Yes.
Committeewoman Holmes,
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley,
Yes?
and Deputy Mayor LaPlante.
Yes. So we have a consent order number 1, the resolution authorizing the hiring of Tyler Donovan in the position of DPW worker number 1 in the Department of Public Works.
Camera's on you.
Welcome. Do I have a motion to approve that consent number 1?
So moved?
Second?
Thank you. Roll call?
Committeeman Delport,
Yes.
Committeewoman Holmes,
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley,
Yes?
Deputy Mayor LaPlante.
Yes. Welcome.
Congratulations.
Yes.
So it was so quick before you voted. Just a quick comment. I want to first thank our Director of Public Works, Rich Reserve, and also our Supervisor, Ron Christie, for coming out tonight as well. And very excited for Tyler to join us, especially through the interviewing process and bringing in people that are looking to make a career in this field, which Tyler is. So we're happy to bring him on, and very positive attitude and background. So welcome aboard.
Welcome. Thank you. Okay, so we'll go back to our normal agenda. So first off, there is no new business. So this time, we will take any public comment on new business or matters that are not on today's agenda. Please come and state your name for the record, please.
Maria Janusik, 720 East Breck Avenue, Manville, New Jersey, and Hillsborough Township property owner, Block 86, Lot 3, 2155, Champlain Road. I have questions in regard to the low-income housing, rental housing development that's going to be built on Block 86, Lot 21. That block 86, Lot 21, was to be subdivided into two separate parcels. Block 86, Lot 21.01, which is the lot that's going to be built on by RPM developers. Has that lot been sold to RPM developers yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
But they got approval from the agency, New Jersey Agency for mortgage.
Councilor,
They received the 9% tax credits. They have not yet come in to move forward with same.
They received what?
They received the tax credit application. They were granted for 9%.
But they're not the owners of that property yet.
They are the designated redevelopers of the property. We are still the owners. They will be, at some point, owning the property as well.
Okay, but right now they are not the owners of that property.
That's correct.
So how can they apply for these tax credits when they don't own that property?
Because, as I've indicated before, Mrs. Janasek, they are the designated redevelopers. The question and the answer doesn't get any different every 2 weeks.
Okay, and I understand and I hear what you're saying. They are the designated redevelopers, but they don't own that property. How can they apply for tax credits or anything related to that property if they don't own that property?
Because they're permitted to by the law.
They're permitted to by the law?
Have you ever applied for a mortgage?
Yes.
Did you own the property when you applied for the mortgage?
Yes, no.
No, you did not,
no, I
right?
did
So
not, right.
very similar concept here. There has to be a process where they can secure their financing in order to approve the property.
So currently, this property, which was purchased by the Hillsborough Township governing body in 2018, is owned by Hillsborough Township. So what is going to be the price that this property is going to be sold for to RPM? Is there an established designated price that this property is going to be sold for?
I believe the property is being sold for $1 as part of our affordable housing obligation.
So $1. And how much did Hillsborough Township governing body pay for that property?
More than $1 was necessary for our affordable housing obligation.
I'm sorry, more than $1. But what was the cost of that property to Hillsborough?
I don't recall, but it was funded, correct, out of the affordable
housing trust fund.
Correct.
I'm sorry, what?
It was funded, the funding came out of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund.
Which means it doesn't cost the taxpayers any money.
Affordable Housing Trust Fund.
Correct, which is separate than the general cost.
And what was the cost of that property?
I don't know off the top of my head, but we can get you that answer.
Okay. What was the assessed value of that property?
I don't know.
I don't recall.
So at the time that Block 86, Lot 21 was purchased, another parcel was also purchased, and those two were purchased together. From my recollection, the assessed value of those two properties was a little bit under $1 million. The purchase price was a little under $3 million. And so now you're going to sell half of that property for $1 to a redeveloper.
That's correct.
That's correct? So that money, that trust fund is public money, right?
No, it's not.
No.
It's not public money?
But Portable Housing Trust Fund money is predominantly monies given by developers, both of residential and non-residential properties, in order to assist the municipality in meeting its affordable housing obligations. That's what the fund exists for, and it is strictly to be used for affordable housing-related items.
But that is public money, that's not
No, it's
private
not.
money.
No, it's
That
not.
should be
It's
considered
not public
public
money.
money.
It says trust funds specifically for affordable housing, where money has been put in there from various developments, and the developers pay into that fund to allow us to help meet our affordable housing obligations.
So
It
you
is
can-
not a tax levy. It was not imposed on you in any way. It was all monies given to us by builders in lieu of building affordable housing to purchase property to build such projects.
So prior developers in Hillsborough Township gave that much money, that there was almost $3 million in that account?
Yes.
Correct.
And over what period of time was that money?
Since the statute required, we started collecting it, and I don't know when that was,
At
Counselor.
least the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And what is the approximate amount of money that a developer has to put into this trust fund?
Established by state statute in accordance with whatever was in effect at the time of the development. The numbers have changed over the years based on assessed valuation.
So this redeveloper is going to get the property is subdivided, so almost 3 million, so $1.5 million property for $1, and they're going to be the owners of this, and this is a rental property. Who is going to be getting the rent money from that development?
Ms. Janasek, that question was answered at the planning board, which you were at. It's
No.
basically being collected by the owner of the property,
It's going to be owned, it's going
by
to
the
be
by the
collected by
development of the property. And this was all
RPM.
answered and addressed at the planning board meetings that you were at, and I was sitting right over there. So, I mean, the fact that you keep asking the same questions, I don't know if maybe you should take notes so that you don't have to ask the same question again, but this has all been asked and answered numerous times by myself, by Mr. Delcor, who was also on the planning board, and by our attorney, who was also there. These questions have all been, and quite honestly, if there's nothing new that you need to ask, can we please get to something else?
Okay, well, the reason why I ask these questions is because it's very ambiguous and confusing, because we have RPM developers, but then there was also Concord Urban Renewal, I think it is, who also has
Concord
involvement with
Urban
this
Renewal,
property.
which, Mr. Janasek, is not that confusing because you've asked and had the question answered multiple times, both here and at the planning board. Concord Urban Development is a group established by RPM for the purposes of the development of the property in question. It's the same entity, it's been the same entity all along, it's just what developers do based on various properties.
So, then who's going to be the owner, RPM or Concord?
Concord Urban Development, which
I am honestly
Con-
confused.
Concord Urban
Excuse me,
Development, I
please.
believe-
I am honestly confused, because
Well,
you have, may I please? You have an ordinance that says RPM is applying for the tax credits to this agency, this New Jersey agency, but then Concord is getting a 30-year tax abatement, and I am very confused, and I just need some explanation. Because
Concord-
how do you buy a property, a governing body buys a property for almost $3 million and then sells it to a developer for $1, and that developer is going to be getting rental income from that property? How does all this-
So, Ms.
I don't
Janasek,
understand this.
here, we've had this conversation, but I'm going to explain to you one more time,
Okay.
because I don't know how else to explain it to you. But the fact of the matter is, we have an affordable housing obligation, right? The state mandates that upon us. RPM and Concord, who is the entity that will ultimately do the development, because they've been designated as part of RPM, they're doing 100% affordable development on this property. There is no other development that we are doing that's 100% affordable. So they're part of the process that we have gone through in order to ensure that we can meet our obligations. We'd like this property to be 100% affordable, and as part of that, we're taking what we bought with the Affordable Trust Fund dollars, we are providing it to the developer so they can build 100% affordable development. If you can't understand that after us explaining that for now 6 or 7 times, I'm not sure what you want me to do. But I can't make you understand a fairly simple financial transaction. And so if there's any further questions, please let us know. But it's really pretty simple. We're trying to do a development, and as we use trust fund dollars to buy the property, that's going to be conveyed to the developer, and they're going to build 100% affordables on there.
Okay, but the application was submitted by RPM, and there's no mention on the application at all that Concord is the entity that owns it, or is it part of it? So that is what is confusing, and why...
But so let me ask you a question. If Concord was not part, but if Concord was not part of it, how do you not know about it?
RPM it talked about RPM, and there was no mention of Concord, so that you don't have that connection.
Then
and
how do
that's
you
what
know
I don't
about
understand.
Concord if there was no mention of it?
I read it in the newspaper.
So there was mention of it.
In the newspaper, but not in the application.
There was.
RPM,
There was, as a matter of fact.
RPM
There
was
100%
the
was.
applicant for that property, and there's no mention of Concord whatsoever in regard to Block 86, Lot 21,
Okay.
in any of the
All right,
the
so what
Hillsborough
else do you
papers.
have?
Excuse me?
We've answered the question as best we can. Do you have any other questions?
Okay, so Block 86, Lot 21 is zoned industrial.
We've answered this question
You're
before.
creating, well, yes, so you're...
No,
you-
was zoned industrial.
no longer industrial.
No longer zoned industrial.
Okay, so there was a zone change.
That's
Correct.
correct.
Okay, and there's a zone change ordinance.
That's
Correct.
correct.
So anyone who lives within 200, has property within 200 feet, has to get notice that there is a zone change, and you have the opportunity to come to discuss the zone change.
No,
Was
zone is
that-
done.
What?
The zone change is completed.
Okay, well, I'm a property owner directly adjacent, and I never got notice that
You were
the
here.
that the I-1 zone...
You were here at the meeting that we did the zone
There-
change.
There was talk about changing it, but it was in a different, it was a different ordinance. It was not
No, it wasn't.
a zone change, specific zone change ordinance, no.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it
not.
was.
Well, then-
Again, we've answered this question before. You brought the same question up before, as numerous times. In fact, it had to be noticed because there was a bunch of people from Manville and yourself all here at the meeting questioning what was being built. So I find it hard to believe that they all got noticed and you didn't. So the ordinance was done, it was changed, it was fairly noticed, it was in the paper as it needs to be by law. So again, do you have anything new? You've asked the same question again.
Okay, I just want to put on the record, there was an ordinance in regard to other things which mentioned that there was the Sherman redevelopment, whatever, that Block 86, Lot 21 was going to be under this thing. There was no ordinance saying that the I-1 light industrial zone was being, that there was a change to the I-1 light industrial zone.
It was changed for
on
an area in
that.
need of redevelopment, which was part of the original
I'm sorry,
plan.
what?
When it was changed for, and designated for an area of redevelopment, that is when the designated change was made. It was
Okay.
done actually prior to the application because we have to do that to allow for the affordable housing to be built. So it was actually built, the notice for that was prior to even the application of RPM even coming
I
in.
never received notice that
I-
there was
I-
a change to the zone of Block 86, Lot 21.
That's,
Now, my
I'm sorry,
property
I
direct-
can't,
my
we have no
prop-
proof either way, so it's done and
My-
it's been done, so you have another question?
My property is directly adjoining
I know you're
Block
right next to it.
86, Lot
What else?
21.
Do you have
What?
something
I'm
else?
sorry, what?
Do you have something else?
My property is directly
We know that
adjoining
your property is
Block
directly
86,
there.
Lot 21. My property is zoned I-1 light industrial, and I think there may be 5 other properties. Everything else
It's
all
not part of
around
that
us-
program. It's not part of that
I'm
block,
sorry,
so it
what?
wouldn't be redone.
What?
It's not part of that lot, so it doesn't matter what's around it.
Okay. May I finish?
Only if you ask a question that you haven't
My
asked already.
property is zoned I-1 light industrial, and there's maybe 4 or 5 other properties. Everything else all around is zoned residential.
Okay.
I never received any kind of specific ordinance stating why, when, how my property was changed to the I-1 light industrial zone. Now you've got this piece of property that is zoned I-1 light industrial, and by some
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Whatever.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I
It was
don't
changed.
have an
Okay.
answer for
Okay.
you.
All right, so now, my property records state that my property record card states that my property is a 3-family.
Okay.
I had a meeting, my husband, my daughter Eva, we had a meeting with Mr. Township Administrator, Mr. Ferrera.
Okay.
And I had requested that Pamela Borick be there, the municipal clerk,
Do you have a question?
Deborah Blaney, the
So what is
tax
the question?
assessor.
I don't-
Yes, this is prefacing.
I don't
have
need to, just
tell
give
you.
us the question.
Deborah Blaney, the tax assessor, was there,
For
and
comment.
David Maskey, the planning director, were there.
All right, so what's the question?
I stated to Deborah Blaney that my property was, the description of my property was inaccurate in the tax list book for Hillsborough. And I asked her to correct it, because the property record card shows it's a 3-family. In the tax list book, it did not specify 3-family. So instead of saying she'll look into it or something, because they don't match, the records don't match, she said very arrogantly, I don't have to. She says, it's in my software. So she has one record in her software and another record she had in the tax list book. Now, that tax list book is also at the Somerset County Board of Taxation, and there were two different records. My property record card shows three-family, built in 1940, so it was prior to the zoning ordinance, and she was putting a different record, and she thought that was fine. So when she knew that she had a different record in the tax list book, then obviously she's doing it on purpose. There was a revaluation done in Hillsborough in 2010. The records compiled from the revaluation show that my property is a three-family. Deborah Blaney was here at that time. Why, with that record and with the property record card showing three-family, was she putting my property as a single family in the tax list book? And she very arrogantly told me, I don't have to change it. So I had gone to the Somerset County Board of Taxation to speak with Mr. Robert Vance, the Somerset County Tax Administrator, and I told him, because from prior information from Mr. Vance, he said that the tax assessors, although they're hired by the municipality and paid by the municipality, they are under his jurisdiction. So I went to him and I said, what I'm telling you. She says she's got one record in her software, but she's providing a different record in the public records. So he said it would be corrected. So in 2018 and years prior, my property is being shown in the tax list book as a single family. So now in 2019, it was corrected to the proper three-family. And I'm assuming that it should be the same this year. Now, why I say this is because there is another three-family house on Champlain Road also, and that is shown in the tax list books as 3 units. So it isn't that, does it matter what it is, what the thing is? What?
Is that your property?
Is it my property?
The one that you're referring to, or is it somebody else's property?
It's another three-family property.
But it's not your property?
It is not my property.
So then, therefore, what is the question that you have regarding your property? Because we can't talk about somebody else's property.
Okay, my question is, why, and I had written a letter to Mr. Vance confirming that he was going to have that record corrected. And I sent a copy to Committeewoman McCauley, and I think you were mayor at the time, and so I sent a copy, and yet no one responds to me. Administrator Ferreira knew about this, and no one responds to me. So I want to know why, when there were issues going from way back, not going way back, because I owned that property with my husband since 1973. In 2011, all of a sudden, things started happening, that there were issues with the records.
Deputy Mayor, if you mind,
I think we've had enough.
Yeah, we've had enough, but we've had 2 meetings with Ms. Janasek in my office, and her family, and her husband, and her daughter. And I've sent multiple letters to you, and you're now rehashing things 3 years ago no. We've answered all these questions. We've sent you a letter. We told you what the correction was. You keep asking the same stuff.
No.
Did you meet with me in my office?
No, you did not give me the correction, no.
No, you're
and
lying. You're lying.
My question is what?
You're lying. I sent you the letter, and you know I did. I handed it to you. What letter?
Yes.
I'll give it to you again.
You can, please do.
And you met with me in my office twice.
You gave me a correction letter after
Wait, what did I give you?
After I had.
You said I just gave you a correction letter.
You're saying.
You said I gave you a correction letter, then I gave it to you. Thank you. No further questioning.
After Deborah Blaney was instructed by Mr. Vance to make the correction, you sent me a correction letter?
You're not being fair. I met with you twice in my office, yes or no? Just
what?
yes or no.
What?
Did I meet with you? Did you meet with me in my office twice? Yes or no?
Did you send me a correction letter after Deborah Blaney was instructed?
I sent you a correction letter. That's absolutely correct.
Not after Deborah Blaney was instructed to put the correct, and that's what I want to know why. If she is changing, if she has one record in her software that no one knows about and a different record on the public record, is she doing that with other properties? She's a very highly paid public official here.
I cannot
and I think
speak
it
for
needs
Mr.
to be looked
Vance.
into, and I want to know why no one bothers to even, after I sent you a copy of that letter and stating that needed to be corrected, and nobody what you're talking about is when you sent me a letter saying my property is in the LI, light industrial zone.
Which is what you
When
asked
did
me
that
to do.
happen?
So,
Okay.
which is
Okay.
what you asked me to do.
So,
Right.
so,
Excuse me,
so-
we've had
so
enough.
what I would like to know is why, if mayor would find out, or deputy mayor would find out, why Deborah Blaney was putting a different record of my property on the public record when she had something else in her software, because that's her job to put the
Okay,
proper,
you've made your point.
proper
Thank you.
information.
You've made your point.
Ms.
It's
Jensen,
already
thank-
been corrected, so there's no further discussion.
At the next meeting,
okay?
I would like to know what was done
There's
in
no
regard
further
to-
discussion.
to-
We're not getting back to you on that, Maria, because that was, as you had stated, you went to the county. The county has met with you on several occasions. It was our understanding at the time that it had been corrected. End of story.
No, it's not end of
End of
story.
story.
It's not end of
End
story.
of story.
Because what I want to know is what records are shown now for my property as to why.
That's up to you. That's
as
up-
to
that is
why
not up to the
as to
Township
why
Committee.
that correction was made.
That is
because
Enough.
one-
Ms.
because-
Janusik,
no,
that is
no,
between
those are
you
my
and the
records.
tax assessor.
No, those
Go-
are my
yes,
records.
go
No,
talk second.
she's an employee
She
here and she's paid.
is
I want to
the
know
tax
what
ass-
the records are that show why and when and who authorized this correction now from single family to three family, because I don't know what's out there again
Well, you know
now.
how to
There's so
contact
many
her,
things.
so
Go
please
talk to
do
Deb
that.
Lane.
This is not the
Contact her now.
Township
Thank
Committee
you.
that's going to do it for you.
That's not our job.
That's your personal
That's not
information.
my personal.
Yes, it
This
is.
is Hillsborough Township property. This
It-
is not a personal between
It's
me and
not
Deborah
our
Blaney.
property.
This is
Yes.
not
Okay.
personal between Deborah Blaney and I. She is a public official. She is paid by the township. She's paid with my tax dollars.
If you
and
need
she
information-
intentionally put out a fraudulent record regarding my
All right,
property.
that's all. That's it. Done.
When you start talking fraud, then
Yes.
we're going to cut you off, so
Yes.
stop. All
Yes.
right, we're
Yes.
not going to have this
Because
conversation.
it was
No.
fraudulent, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
anything else?
No, it isn't.
You have ultimate recourse. Go take a lawyer and issue the fraud, or go to the prosecutor's office. I am not going to continue to allow you to malign our employees and accuse them of being poor employees or committing some type of crime. If you would like to do that, I'm not going to ask you. I'm not asking you for comment. I'm telling you my position. You can go sit down now because you made your comments. You can go to the prosecutor and tell him whatever you believe was the fraud. We're not going to entertain it here anymore.
Okay, Committeeman Delcourt, this is the second time that you have publicly accused me of maligning
You're calling
a
them.
Hillsborough
You committed
Township
fraud.
public official, because that's what she did.
You said fraud, not us.
Take it to the
I am
prosecutor.
presenting a statement of facts that I can back up with records, and you are accusing me, second time in public, of maligning a public official
Well,
of
Maria,
Hillsborough.
quite honestly, you know how to reach us any day of the week. You're here every day of the week at 4:30 PM every day of the week. So, you know what? You can come to a township meeting and you can publicly accuse employees because you want to play your game
I am
and be
not
on
playing
camera.
games.
Let me finish. You want to be on camera and you want to make your statement. There has not been one time that you have asked this township committee or governing body, any of our employees, for anything, and you have not been responded to. So I clearly take it personally when you said you didn't get any responses, because you get a response for everything you've sent to this township.
No.
Yes, you have.
No.
Yes, you
No.
have.
Why didn't
So
you
you can
respond?
continue to lie.
Why did you not respond
You can
when I
continue
sent
to
you a
lie,
copy?
Maria.
When I sent you a copy of that, when you were
You
the
can
mayor.
continue to lie.
And you did not respond.
Yes,
I
we
have
did
sent other
respond.
things, and there has been no response. So please don't tell
Yes,
me
we did.
you have
And we're
always
not
responded.
responding to you anymore
No,
because
you have not. We're
clearly
not
you're
anymore.
harassing
There are
everybody
a
up
lot of-
here
There are
and
a
our
lot of
employees.
things that I have requested
enough.
that I didn't get in Oprah's, or I got I don't understand. I write a little novel now because I get, I don't understand what you were asking for. And you did not respond to my letter, so please,
Don't
tell
talk
me
to me about
don't tell me
responding.
I'm lying.
You've written a letter and
Don't
copied
tell me-
every single one of us on everything.
Don't tell me that I'm lying.
Okay?
Because
So don't
anything
say you
I
didn't get a
present,
response.
anything I present,
I will
I can
defend
back-
that. I will
I can
defend
back
this
with
township
written
committee,
records.
and I will defend the staff here to say that they have always responded to you. Okay? So stop.
You didn't respond to me.
I don't
You
have to
didn't
personally respond to you. Our staff
No one
responds to you.
responded and said, and this is in reference to the letter that you sent. No one responded.
Well, then you should give me
did
the
not
letter that you
respond.
sent. Give me the
What?
letter that you sent, and I'll find the response. Okay?
Beautiful, yeah. And I'll
Thank
be
you.
here, and I'll be here at the next meeting so we can discuss it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from public on matters not on tonight's agenda? Shaking his head, no. Okay. We do not have any public hearings this evening, so moving on to new ordinances. 20-07, an ordinance providing for the vacation of a .043 acre portion of land along the westerly line of Route 206 in the Township of Hillsborough, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey. Further consideration of this ordinance and public hearing will be held on March 24th, 2020. May I have a motion to introduce this ordinance?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Comments from the dais? Comments from the floor? Roll call.
Chairman Delcor?
Maria Janius, 6720 East Breck Avenue. So this ordinance is vacating a piece of property that is next to Block 178, Lot 5. Does this have any kind of a number or a something identifying this little piece of property? Because apparently there was a deed from Carl Massaro for a piece of property. Is this deed available?
Direct
Copy
your
of this deed
questions to the
available?
mayor or the council, not each individual.
This is essentially, we're vacating property that's along 206 for a project that's being built
I
in the
understand
right
that.
of way. So
I
what is
underst-
it that you're looking for?
I understand that. How do you identify this piece of property?
It's identified right in the ordinance.
By what?
It's identified in the ordinance.
It's identified where?
Right in the ordinance, it mentions it.
Where?
It mentions the site plan that was filed, and it's delineated on that site plan. And as far as the deed, it's a recorded deed. You can search the county records.
Okay, the first sentence states, whereas the Township of Hillsborough is the owner of a 0.043 acre portion of land situated along
Ms.
the
Janasek, you don't need to-
westerly line and-
Ms. Janasek, you
line
don't
of
need to read it to me. I
Route
wrote it.
206 And abutting, what?
You don't need to.
Well, then I asked
You
you.
don't
and
need, you don't need to
told
read
me-
it to me. I wrote it.
You wrote it.
I wrote
Okay,
it.
all right.
So you don't need to read it to me.
So I'm asking, so it's saying there's a portion of land abutting the property.
Yes.
How do you identify that piece of property? Is that how the deed reads, that it's a portion of property abutting lot 178?
Exhibit A delineates it right on the site plan. Thank you.
Yeah, there's a meets and bounds description that gives pinpoints of where the actual land is in that thing along certain latitudes and longitudes. That gives you the exact area where it is. It's in the meets and bounds description, parcel of land to be vacated by Hillsborough Township merger, Block 175, Hillsborough Township, Somerset County, New Jersey, which will be part of the packet when we do the public hearing on March 24th of 2020.
So part of this ordinance, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the sixth whereas, it says the township acquired the property for the nominal consideration of $1 by deed from Carl Massaro, dated December 20, 1988. So is there a copy of this deed available by Oprah?
County records.
County records, this is
Yeah.
part of the Hillsborough
It's a
ordinance.
state highway.
It's part of the
County-
Hillsborough ordinance. This is included in the Hillsborough ordinance.
You asked the
You asked
question
the
and the
question.
attorney
What-
answered
and
it
what-
for
so
you.
you're saying
He said
what-
it's county records. I don't know why you're arguing with him.
This deed is from the county only, you don't have a copy of this deed here?
All deed records, whether they're from any township within Somerset County, get filed at the county. That's what happens. Your deed for your property in Hillsborough is filed at the
I
county.
understand.
Your
I-
deed for
I
your property
understand.
in
But
Manville is filed at the county. That's how it works.
My deed is not included in a Hillsborough Township ordinance.
Okay, and if it was,
So
you
if
know where it
this-
would be?
so this-
At the county.
So this information, yes, it would be at the county, but it should also be.
And that's what I'm telling you.
It should
It's at the
also
county.
be in Hillsborough because it is part of this ordinance.
No.
Who is the applicant for this application number 18 PB 17 MSPV?
Hillsborough Village Center.
Who?
Hillsborough Village
Center.
Hillsborough Village Center.
They're the owners
So
of the
they are
property.
the fee simple owner of Block 178, Lot 5. Are they also the owners of that, all of the other lots? Block 178, lots 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11?
That's what
Yes.
it says.
Yes,
No, it doesn't, does it?
yes.
It says here,
Kinda does.
Hillsborough Village Center is the fee simple owner of the Block 178, Lot 5 property.
Yeah, they own all those lots.
That project was approved last fall.
Okay, so it says here that the property for application number
Ms.
18...
Janasek, can you just give us a
I have
question?
Yes,
I don't need to-
application number 18 PB 17 MSPV is for property identified on the Hillsborough tax map as
Mm-hmm.
Block 178, lots 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. But then the second whereas after that, it says site plan for Hillsborough Village Center, Block 178, lots 4 to 11, and then there's 3.02 and 12.01. But that's not included in the upper one. Why is there is additional lots that are not part of the application, but yet they're mentioned here? That lot 3.02 and 12.01, what is that?
That is the identification as it was referred to on the site plan. That is the exact description, that's why it's in quotes, of the site plan that was filed with the board.
Okay.
Listing all the properties.
But the the other one that talks about the application doesn't include those 2 lots.
Okay, do you have a point?
Yeah, I'm asking why,
Okay.
how is it that
For all those-
how is it that there's two more lots included here, but they're not shown as part of the application?
For anybody that might be watching this, the whole purpose of this ordinance is there's a .043 acre portion of land that is located on Route 206. It was deeded to the township approximately in 1988. The township was trying to acquire right-of-ways. This was one of the only few that they got. With this development application, because we're looking to, I think, move it up as a part of the town center, it was recommended by the planning board that that particular portion of property be donated by the township to the developer, and that's what's being done here.
Okay.
I can't make any clearer
No,
than that. It's a
but you didn't answer-
.043
you
acre portion of land. It's a very tiny portion of land. It's situated right on Route 206. The township needs it for no purpose whatsoever, and now the developers are going to get it so they can construct their development and make it straight along Route 206.
Okay, that's what this ordinance is about, and included in this ordinance is Block 178, Lot 3.02, and Lot 12.01, and that's what I'm asking about, because it looks like that's not included in the application, but yet it's mentioned here as for the site plan. So I'm asking about those 2 additional lots.
Thank you. Thank you for your comment.
That's not a comment, I'm asking why.
And I don't have an
are
answer
those-
for you.
What?
I don't have an answer for you.
You don't have an answer? You're the
No,
one
thank you.
that drafted that drafted
Yep,
this
don't have an
ordinance,
answer for you. Thank
and
you.
you don't have
I think
an
I've answered it, but
about 2 additional lots.
I've been on this merry-go-round now for the last 5 minutes. They've been on the merry-go-round for the last 45 minutes.
No.
It seems like we go around on the
No, it's not a
merry-go-round.
merry-go-round.
And then after we're done, we get off at the same spot.
This is a public
and all we are is
hearing for
dizzy.
this ordinance, and I have questions, and I'm asking why there are 2 lots that are not shown as on the application, but yet they're being shown here in this ordinance. That's what I'm asking.
Okay, thank you.
We don't have an answer, but
You don't
thank you.
have an answer.
Thank you.
2 extra lots are thrown in,
Thank you.
and the attorney who drafted this, Mr. William Willard, doesn't have an answer. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments from the floor? Roll call.
Committeeman Delcor?
Yes.
Committeewoman Holmes?
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley?
Yes?
Deputy Mayor LaPlante?
Yes. Next is 2020-08, an ordinance of Township of Hillsborough, Somerset County, New Jersey, amending Chapter 188, Land Use and Development, Article 5, Districts and Standards, Section 18898, RA, RS, R, R1, R2, CR, AH, RCA, PD, residential districts by adding an R8A zone to apply to Block 182, Lot 9, 11.01, and 46.01, and Block 183, Lot 38.02. Further consideration and public hearing will be held on March 24th of 2020. The purpose of this ordinance would rezone the former Glengarry Quarry located between Hamilton Road and Falcon Road that is currently designated as an M Mining and CDZ Corporate Development Zone to a new zone district to be known as Residential 8A. The new residential district would permit the construction of up to 380 single-family homes on 8,000 square foot lots. The district will include an affordable housing obligation of 88 units, which are to be constructed off-site in accordance with the court-sanctioned settlement between Hillsborough Township and M&A AMP-M Realty Partners, LLC. The primary purpose of this ordinance is to accommodate the construction of affordable housing units that will contribute to the township's affordable to meet its court-imposed affordable housing obligation. Again, just before we go to the comments, I'll have a motion to introduce this ordinance. Move a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Comments for Dais, and I'll just answer maybe some questions that might come. This is the same type of procedure that we do when we take a project that is, can be designated for affordable housing, that we need to change the zone to allow the affordable housing project to be built. This is not approval of any housing project. It still has to go through planning board, still has to meet all the approvals. This is strictly changing the zoning of the property to allow for the potential of an affordable housing site to be utilized on this property. Any other comments from Diaz?
I think you summarized that very nicely.
Thank you. All right, so comments from the floor.
Maria Januszek, 720 East Freck Avenue, Manville, New Jersey.
Yes, ma'am.
So this ordinance says by adding R8A zone to apply to Block 182, lots 9, 11.01, and 46.01, and Block 183, lot 32.02. So the zone of these two parcels is being changed
That's
by this
correct.
ordinance.
That's correct.
What is the current zone of these?
We read that in the opening. Did you read it? Did you listen? Do I repeat myself? It was rated, and I'll repeat again for you in case you didn't hear it in the back. They are, as of right now, M, mining, and CDZ, construction development zone. Corporate, corporate development zone.
So this property that was in, that's in a zone that is for mining?
It's a defunct quarry. It's on on Hamilton
Are
Road.
there other properties that are also part of that mining zone?
Meaning, in that lot, it's just these two lots that you just read off.
And the one is zoned for mining, and the other one is zoned for
Corporate development zone.
corporate development, and these are now going to be residential
That's
zones.
correct.
So now, are there properties within 200 feet that property owners need to be notified?
They
that there
would
is
be
a zone
notified,
change?
yes.
Excuse me?
They would be notified,
They-
yes.
They would be notified. Okay, and this is for another development of not to exceed 380 units for affordable housing.
No, 380 single-family homes and 88 affordable housing units, as the deputy mayor indicated in the opening statement, which will be developed off-site.
So this site will only be 380 units. That's
Correct.
correct.
Well, that's what I'm saying, 380
No, you said
units.
380 affordable
Okay,
housing.
the affordable housing obligation for the R8A district is 88 units.
Right. That's built somewhere else.
So when did that happen, that the affordable housing obligation was for this R8A district, when you're only creating this district now?
Because it's part of a settlement agreement between the intervener and the township, subject to approval from the court, which is next week. At the request of the court, we have introduced the ordinance to move the process along.
Okay, and who is the court?
Judge Miller.
Same guy.
Judge Miller. So Judge Miller is, so now where in the township, or can this be provided by Oprah, what is the total affordable housing obligation for Hillsborough Township?
We don't have it yet.
You don't have it?
It's still in litigation. We are building our affordable housing based on a number that we may think that we might get to, but we have not been designated a number yet. And we've been building on for the last, Counselor, you were here longer than I am.
5 years.
5 years.
Well, actually longer, for the last...
15 years?
Last 20,
Yeah.
more. From
We are the last
1998 to the
vicinage
present.
to be
We are the last town in
determined.
this vicinage yet to resolve our outstanding issues with our various interveners and the Fair Share Housing Center.
So who are the interveners?
You've asked this question before, Mrs. Janicek.
Oh, You see, Mr. Attorney Bernstein.
Please deal with the ordinance.
Attorney
It has nothing
Bernstein.
to do with the
No,
ordinance.
because I ask a question and I get snide
Well,
remarks.
the question
Now,
is on this
Attorney Bernstein says
well-
these things to me. You work with that every day, so you remember, you know, you can bounce it off your, I don't. So I ask a question, and I would request respect, because I don't make snide, oh, well, you asked this again and again. I don't do that.
No,
So I
Mrs.
would
no,
request that you be
Mrs.
respectful of
Janicek.
me also.
May I? The reason why I said that was you have come up to this microphone multiple times and asked who the interveners are. And you've been told who the interveners are.
No.
Now, let me finish.
Go
I
ahead.
allow you to finish. And you have what I would euphemistically refer to as selective amnesia or positive forgetfulness. You don't choose to remember what you are told, so it allows you to come up again and ask the question again. So for the purposes of this ordinance, as the Deputy Mayor indicated, the intervener in this case is M&M Realty. They are the owners of the property. They are the ones who the township has entered into an agreement for settlement for the purposes of dealing with their application.
Okay. Now, I don't know what an intervener is, and I didn't know that M&M are the interveners, and so I asked that question out of wanting to know, because I don't know, and you make snide remarks, you've asked it and you've asked it. Is the intervener always the same for every application?
No.
Well, then how could I possibly know?
Because you've asked the question before.
You know, because you work with this every day. I don't, and so I asked.
Counsel, we're addressing an ordinance here, and we need to stick to the ordinance. So please ask or direct
than to go
to
round
this
and round,
ordinance.
you know.
This is an
Okay.
ordinance here we're discussing.
So
Not affordable
So
housing.
Hillsborough Township doesn't know what its affordable obligation, housing obligation is.
this ordinance, so please move
It's what?
We don't know, and it's irrelevant to this ordinance.
What do you mean it's irrelevant? It
Because
says here, on the
it's
second
feeding-
page.
it's- well, it
It's
doesn't
on the
matter
second
what our number
additional
is, we have to meet
requirements for the R8A district. The affordable housing obligation for the R8A district is 88 units, which shall be provided in accordance with the settlement.
Well, you remember what
So
you
this
want to
is-
remember on there, but the bottom line is, Ms. Janasek, we have to meet our affordable housing number. This helps meet it. The fact that the number is, pick a number, 10,000, 5,000, 2,000, is irrelevant. This allows us to get closer to that number, whatever it should be, because we know that we are not in compliance yet. And the interveners are there that we are settling with one at a time. So to tell you what interveners are down the road, we can't tell you yet because they're still in litigation. This one is listed, it's M&N Realty, it's listed in the reading, and anyone that comes in with affordable housing, you can assume it's an intervener because we don't want to build it, so they have to go before the judge to get the approval.
Okay, you're saying you could assume that because you work with these things, maybe you know. You're in real estate, you know. I don't know. So that's why I asked the question.
All right.
And instead of giving me the answer, oh, it's M&M Realty, I get a 20-minute, oh, here we go, round and round. It's very rude.
Well, I guess the frustration, Ms. Janasek, is that you asked things that like you asked what the zoning was, and I read it 4 minutes before you came up and you asked a question.
Okay, may I have a copy of the preface that you read for this ordinance?
It will be actually available for the public hearing on the 24th.
May I get that
You
through
can
Oprah?
you can come and get it, absolutely.
That, the entire, what you read,
That's-
prefacing this ordinance? Thank
There you
you.
go. Thank you. Any more comments from the floor? He's shaking his head violently. Okay. We have a motion, a second roll call, please.
Committeeman Delcor.
Yes.
Committeewoman Holmes.
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor LaPlante.
Yep.
Second reading and public hearing is what, March 24th?
March 24th.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All these are going to be on March 24th, everyone that we're dealing with tonight. 2020-09, ordinance authorizing acceptance of a deed of dedication of right-of-way, reforestation, and conservation easement and stormwater management maintenance easement for the property identified on the Hillsborough tax map as Block 152, Lot 4 and 4.01, following consolidation and subdivision to be designated as a Block 152, Lots 4.02 and 4.07. Further consideration and public hearing will be held on March 24th of 2020. Do I have a motion to introduce this ordinance?
So moved?
Second.
Comments from the dais? Comments from the floor?
Maria Janu, 6720 East Freck Avenue, Manville, New Jersey. So this ordinance states acceptance of deed of dedication of right-of-way, reforestation and conservation easement. Are there wetlands on this property? What is the purpose of this reforestation and conservation easement?
Mayor, they're planting some trees as a buffer area. They're planting some trees as part of the approval, and they want to conserve that area after the planting of the trees. So they're going to reforest, meaning plant trees in that area, and then they're going to maintain it as a conservation easement area, so there's buffers.
Right. essentially, in the long run, there's a project being built. They're dedicating an area to be a conservation easement within that thing, within that project.
They're dedicating an area. Are there wetlands on this property?
I don't know, and if it doesn't really matter based on the ordinance they're giving, as a conservation easement, it can't be built on. Can't be disturbed, can't be built on, so it's a conservation easement.
So this reforestation, how many trees are going to be cut down that you have to do a reforestation project?
Well,
We'd have to look at the plans.
yeah, I don't have the plans in front of us, but essentially, that would be done in the planning board and what was approved at the time.
And so what's being built here?
Just a couple small projects, small houses.
A couple of small houses? Okay. So the application is available and all the, whatever comes with this application is available in the Planning Zoning Department?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, roll call?
Freeman Delcor.
Yes.
Marilyn Holmes.
Yes.
Mayor McCauley.
Yes?
Deborah Mayor LaPlante.
Yes. All right. Getting close here. 2020-10, an ordinance creating a new Chapter 115 entitled Amusement Games of the Municipal Code of the Township of Hillsborough, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, and providing for the licensing and regulation thereof in accordance with the Amusement Game Licensing Law, NJSA 5:8-78 et sequence, and the regulations promulgated pursuant thereto, NJAC 13.3-1.1 et sequence. Further consideration of this ordinance and public hearing will be also held on March 24th of 2020. Do I have a motion to approve this ordinance? Introduce, I'm sorry, introduce. Thank you.
Second?
All right, Counselor, this is strictly just to create an ordinance for people that want to do some kind of gaming in town?
It's amusement games. I guess this goes all the way back to 1959 where they outlawed, you had to be licensed to have these type of games. And essentially what it is if you ever been to a Chuck E. Cheese, if you ever been to a Dave & Buster's, there's a Funplex someplace, I think it's in East Hanover. The Branchburg PSC has them. In other words, they're these kind of arcade kind of games where the kids play the games and then they spit out tickets and then they can take the tickets and they can buy candy, gum, or whatever merchandise. They can save money, buy whatever merchandise. So actually the state statute requires you guys to license them locally, and then they also have to be licensed by the state, just because I guess way back when they considered these maybe gambling machines or whatever, so that's what it is. But that's what this would do. This is going to authorize those type of amusement games in this particular municipality, and I believe it's because of the, I believe it's going to be at the Apex project. That's part of it, and it's common. They have it at the Branchburg Sports Complex. The kids, they'll come for a birthday party, they'll play the arcade games, they get tickets, and then they...
So this is a requirement by state that we have to have this?
This is actually, yes, in order for them to have it, we have to license them first, so now we're putting in place the ordinance that will allow that licensing, and then the state has to license them also.
Thank you. Just for clarification, in case there's any questions. With that, do we have any other comments from the dais? From the floor?
Maria Janu, 6720 East Freck Avenue, Manville, New Jersey. Is there a specific facility that's already in existence in Hillsborough or is being built that's going to have all these
The Apex facility on
games?
Mountain View Road.
Apex?
On Mountain View Road.
It's not open yet, but it will be, and we'll need this kind of license to have the type of amusement games that they're asking for.
Is there also going to be any kind of gambling
No.
there?
If you consider a kid playing an arcade game that spits out tickets that they can purchase merchandise as gambling, then yes.
Okay, I don't consider it, but I don't know the law. I'm asking.
That's essentially what this is
excuse me?
required by the state. If you listen, this is required by the state for us to adopt this ordinance. Then they apply for a permit, and then it's governed by the state that to have this type of amusement game in their establishment.
So, all right, so there are no other establishments in Hillsborough. The one establishment that is going to require this is what is it, Apex Sports Complex?
That's correct.
Thank you.
But I want to be clear, though, because you make general statement. There is nothing today, but this covers the municipality that allows for that to occur. So I don't want you to say we're saying this is the only one it covers, because that's not the case. It's a broad ordinance across the municipality for amusement games.
Okay, no, I understood that.
Okay.
That's
Just
why
wanna
I
make
asked if there are any currently, and
That's
you're
correct.
saying that
There's
this
not.
is this, the...
If there were, we would have
what
done
is
this a
here
long time
is
ago,
Apex.
so I get your point.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No one's operating illegal.
All right, so roll call, please.
Committeeman Delcor.
Yes.
Committeewoman Holmes.
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor LaPlante.
Yes. All right, so we're moving on to resolutions. Are there any resolutions or consent agendas, I should say, that anybody would like to take out on their own? Otherwise, I would ask for a motion to approve 2 through 12.
Motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Comments from the DS? Comments from the floor?
I'm sorry.
Maria January 6720 East Freck Avenue, Manville, New Jersey. It's consent number 5, the resolution authorizing acceptance of stormwater management, maintenance easement, and conservation easement for the property identified on the Hillsborough Township tax map as Block 178, lots 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, following consolidation to be designated as Block 178, Lot 4.01. Okay, so what specifically is this a resolution?
Number.
Mayor, that again is the Hillsborough Village Center project on Route 206. We referred to it earlier. Earlier, we had an ordinance for the .043 acre portion that was going to be vacated. This has to do with a resolution just approving the stormwater management maintenance easement. They're responsible for the maintenance of the stormwater management on the property. However, this document gives us the right to enforce that, go onto their property, make sure they're doing what they're supposed to with respect to stormwater management, and if they don't, go onto the property and take remedial measures if they don't satisfy their obligations. And then I think there was also a conservation easement. There's one area in the way corner indicated on the site plan. It's a small area, and there's a conservation easement that was requested by the board at that point in time, and this also accepts that conservation easement.
The conservation easement is because there's wetlands there?
I have no idea what's there as far as wetlands or not, but it's a conservation
It's not
easement,
required it to be
so it's
wetlands,
not
have a
disturbed.
conservation easement. It's just an area that they just designate to be preserved and non-built on.
What would normally constitute a conservation easement? What would have to be, what type of land or what's going on that land that it would have to be designated for a conservation easement?
It could be for many reasons. It could be just to establish a buffer. It could be there to preserve some lands that are environmentally sensitive. It can be for many reasons. It's not just one reason. Or it could be because somebody wants to donate open space and they want to leave it in a conservation state forever. So many reasons, many reasons.
Okay, all right, so now this, let's see. This is showing block 178, lots 4, 5, 6, 7, up to 11. Doesn't mention those other 2 lots that are in the ordinance. Are those other 2 lots that are mentioned in the ordinance, are they part of this?
Well, they would be merged to the other lots at one point, right?
No, the other 2 lots, one of them is 12.01.
Right.
It's an adjacent lot.
Right.
It just has existing parking on it. And
Right.
it was part of their application because they needed cross-access easements to use that for parking areas.
That's behind the
Not
lot.
really, not really
Right.
relevant,
To
it's
the
not being
lot.
built on, it's existing parking. That's why it's listed on their site plan, because it was part of their application. But the property that's really being developed is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's being consolidated, and that's where all the building's going to occur.
So those other 2 lots that are mentioned in the ordinance, they're not being consolidated?
Not relevant to our
As block
conversation.
178, lot
They're
12.
not being consolidated, not relevant to our conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other public comment? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Committeeman Delcor.
Yes.
Committeewoman Holmes.
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley.
Yes?
Deputy Mayor LaPlante.
Yes. All right, so we're up to the claims list. We are, take a motion to approve the claims list.
So moved.
Second?
Comes from DS, comes from the floor.
I'm sorry.
Yes, Ms. Janice.
Maria Janusik, 720 East Frick Avenue,
Mhm.
Manville, New Jersey. Why are there sometimes manual checks shown as they are on this, with this claims list?
Because sometimes we write manual checks.
Okay.
They're still recorded.
That I understood, but why are there sometimes manual checks written?
You can ask the CFO.
What?
You can ask this chief financial officer.
Could be anything, could the computer could have been down that day, could have been something, that they didn't have an invoice for, they had to go out and do, out of petty cash, so if you have a particular one in mind, I would just ask Nancy.
I can even answer that. I've gotten a check before when I've attended an elected official luncheon that I had to host, and so they'll reimburse me, and I'll get a $30 check. That's what those kind of things are.
Okay, because this is showing a lien redemption of $23,000. That's a big check to be just writing
Yeah,
out
they've never
manually.
written me one for that.
So that's why I'm asking, why were these written manually?
The CFO is
And so
here
that
Monday
was-
through Friday, 9 to 5. You can certainly ask.
I would think that would be
I'm
something
sorry,
that
was it
I would think that's something that the governing body should know.
Well, it doesn't
Thank you.
matter that if it's a manual check, it's been recorded, so whether it's written through manually or not, it really doesn't matter. Any other comments from the dais?
We don't write the checks.
That's right. Okay, roll call, please.
Commander Delacorte.
Yes.
Committeewoman Holmes.
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley.
Yes?
Deputy Mayor LaPlante.
Yes. All right, so this concludes our regular meeting. We do have an executive session this evening. Ms. Bork, can you please read the executive resolution?
Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975 permits the exclusion of the public from meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas the Township Committee is of the opinion that such circumstances exist, now therefore be resolved by the Township Committee of the Township of Hillsborough and the County of Somerset, State of New Jersey as follows: the public shall be excluded from discussion of the hereinafter specified subject matter. Number 2, the general nature of the subject matter be discussed as follows: contract negotiations, PBA Local 205, potential litigation, affordable housing. Number 3, the Township Committee may take official action on those items discussed in executive session upon the completion. Number 4, the minutes of the discussion shall be made available as soon as the matters are no longer sensitive or confidential nature. This resolution will take effect immediately.
May I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Comments from dais? Comments from the floor?
Good.
Okay.
On adjournment, really?
Something?
So, on the
Maria
stage.
Janusik. There are going to be contract negotiations, that's for the policemen's union?
They've been ongoing.
Excuse me?
They've been ongoing.
They've been ongoing. Are those negotiations handled by the township attorney?
No,
They're not?
they're handled by Mr. Bernstein.
Our labor attorney.
I'm sorry, what did I say?
They're handled by our labor attorney, which is
The
Mr. Bernstein.
labor attorney, okay. Okay, never mind. And again, we have litigation regarding affordable housing.
That's what we've been
Seems like
discussing before.
there is so much, why is there so much litigation? And what is
Ms.
this
Janusik.
costing the township?
I suggest you go to Affordable Housing website and read all about what is being done to the state of New Jersey. And then you can also, there was a nice seminar that the mayor at the time, Delcor, did for about 3 hours and discussed exactly what was going on. It's on Channel 29 and YouTube. I would highly recommend, it might be beneficial to you to see that, because it explains everything that's gone on from the past up through the present and what is going on in the future. I would think it's very informative, and someone that, like yourself, that seems to be so interested in this, it would be a definite a benefit to you. But the answer to your question is, there's a boatload of litigation going on around the state. It's been going on, it's going to continue to go on, and I wish I could tell you it's not, but it is.
Okay,
That's the
well,
short
because
answer.
I know with the Council on Affordable Housing, there had been litigation, and after that, now that that's defunct, why is there still so much
It's
litigation?
all what they, remember the intervener question you had? It's the same stuff. It's all the interveners.
I had read an article by Senator Bateman where he's saying that if the judges followed the law, there wouldn't be these issues with this affordable housing. So why are the judges so involved in this if there's no longer a mandate for this affordable housing, what's going on?
That's
So
a
I don't
great
know if the
question.
answer
I would march right down to Trenton and ask that in the legislature.
I was going to ask if that was something that you talk about on your YouTube presentation.
Absolutely do.
Yeah.
Along with a member of the legislature.
Yeah, and the legislature was there. Some of the members of the legislature were actually on that YouTube.
Thank you.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Chairman Delcor.
Yeah.
Committeewoman Holmes.
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor LaFawney.
Yes, so we are in recess to executive session. It is 9:20.